but we had to track him down. You see, normally at this time, Kogo's Mark Larson is right here in the studio, but he skipped town. Our crack investigative team caught up with him, though, in Washington, D.C., along with Donna Rice-Hughes. Good morning. How you doing, Mark?
Good morning.
Good morning. Yeah, this is a great place to be. You know, about the last hours, you've been reporting our friend Tony Snow got a new gig over at the White House. So we're here at Fox News Channel on North Capitol, right across from the Capitol. A lot of buzz here, especially from Tony's staff, saying, now what are we going to do here on the radio and TV side? But kudos to him. He's going to do a great job over there and make it very interesting.
Absolutely. And, of course, since Tony is a good friend of the program here, I'm assuming that Donna is going to want to talk to him immediately about kids and the internet and keeping our kids safe. That's what we're talking about this morning.
That's right.
That's right. And the thing is, you know, Mark, as we've talked about on and off the air for some time, this is a huge issue. I work with Donna with Enough is Enough, and they have ProtectKids.com, helping sharpen the awareness on the internet. This whole issue of MySpace has been really hot. You know, a lot of the stories here lately. I called Donna last fall when I discovered that some extended family members were on MySpace. These are kids who aren't supposed to be there, you know, under the age of 14, which is supposed to be the limit. All of a sudden they have all these friends, you know, underage kids. And she said at the time, I'm hearing more about underage girls being involved. This is like a huge peer pressure thing. So now, months later, everybody's on it. And, you know, Donna's been on this internet safety issue for well over the past decade.
Yeah, Donna, I know. I'm looking at stuff going back to 1995 with you. You've written on it extensively. You've lobbied on it extensively. And now this website, ProtectKids.com, are parents starting to get it? Or are you still, like, meeting resistance?
Well, I think it's more, it's not so much resistance as that the internet is an entirely different world. And the kids are much more adept at it than their parents are. And parents still do not understand the way the sexual predators and the pornographers operate online. And we've been trying to get that point across to parents all these years, and how important it is for them to understand that, so that the parents themselves can be the first line of defense in protecting their kids.
Now, normally, you know, we're kind of loath to get Washington involved in any other parts of our lives, but are you talking to lawmakers trying to find, you know, some way to maybe prosecute online predators more strongly, or regulations that might help, or is it still just up to the parents?
Well, there are regulations already that we got passed many, many years ago. In fact, the very federal statutes that are used to prosecute these sexual predators, we got into the Communications Decency Act back in 1996. So we have a lot of laws already, and we're still waiting for one particular law to go before the Supreme Court. It's been there twice. It keeps getting kicked back down to a lower court, and that deals with the problem of pornography and kids' access to porn online. So we're waiting to see how the court rules on that. But in the meantime, with respect to places like MySpace, and Mark knows this, I mean, he's really the pro on this more than me, but he tells me things. But it's the way the predators are operating. It's not that MySpace in and of itself is bad. In fact, it was meant to be a good social networking place for kids to interact with one another and to meet people.
And for adults, it's great, you know, if they're doing what they're supposed to be doing there. I mean, it's 60 million plus users, but there's a lot of kids who shouldn't be in the neighborhood.
Well, there are a lot of kids. They've got an age break of 14, except there's no age verification technology in place, so much younger kids are going on. And I believe that even 14 to 16-year-old kids probably don't have the savvy, if you will, to recognize that so many of the people that they're dealing with and meeting online aren't people who they claim to be. And like Mark was just telling me that we won't name any names, but there's someone that he knows in his family has a lot of 72 friends.
Well, one has 72 friends. The other one has 494 friends, including some who are, you know, the guy who's 38 years old and he's got a photo wearing no shirt. That's obviously not a friend. They can say, well, we are going to choose who we're to let into our little network here. But often, as you've seen in some of these television exposés, you have people masquerading as 14-year-olds. That's what happened to that former member of Homeland Security who was out there thinking he was talking to a 14-year-old. Sure. The kids aren't as savvy about the predators, but they're very savvy about the internet. And a lot of parents are afraid to go in and say, hey, Junior, what are you doing here? They've got to do that. The kids know more about computers than parents do. So a lot of these kids say, all right, the age requirement's 14. I know how to make it seem like I'm 26. They don't realize what they're playing with. And another note, that's about the innocence on this, is that so many kids who are just there, you know, they're not trying to get into trouble. But we talk about culture of corruption back here in Washington, D.C. There's a culture of corrosion that happens with this, where kids accidentally get into things. They can do a search on just the internet for report about the White House and get into a porn site by accident.
Yeah, boy, we've talked about that and all around that. It's so difficult to talk about these stories without actually directing people to the site accidentally. Donna, before we go, talk to me just briefly about protectkids.com, who this site is for and what parents can find there.
Okay, well, protectkids.com is the internet safety site for Enough is Enough, and we're a national nonprofit. And we've got a lot of information for parents. They can understand how the predators and the pornographers operate online, and then we give them a lot of internet safety tips, including our Rules and Tools program. And we're trying to make this very easy for parents so that they don't get so overwhelmed with what they need to do. If they can implement safety rules and software tools, some very simple strategies, they can help their kids prevent a lot of the problems and the dangers that are out there. And let me just add one more thing about the friends list. Yeah. Parents really need to work with their kids to not have anybody on their friends list on these social networking sites that they don't know, in the physical world.
Right.
Everybody else should be off limits, and parents need to monitor that very carefully.
Parents don't have to know how to build a computer to be involved. You know, just get involved with your kids. The first thing I would do is go in and say, hey, how about this MySpace? Pretty cool, huh? Are you on it? Let's see what. Show me how that works.
And that's the key, really, for parents to get involved.
And ask them to show you their password-protected area too.
Right. Mark, Donna, thank you so much. We appreciate you taking time for us this morning. Mark, we'll see you back here in San Diego. Donna, anytime you're in town, please come into the studio and talk to us more.
Thank you, Mark.
And for more information, you all go to fox6.com and we'll hook you up with that website. Again, it's protectkids.com. We'll have a link at fox6.com.